Greetings, family. How are you? I hope you're having an awesome day. Now, welcome to my YouTube channel where we are talking about what marriage means to me. As you know, I'm your host, SC Zulu, and I'm so excited to be talking on this subject that we'll be talking about today because it's very close to home. Firstly, before we start, let me thank you for subscribing and liking and commenting and sharing with your friends. Much appreciated. Now, let's go to the topic of today. The topic of today is about bringing a child into the marriage. Now, I'm speaking to the people who had children before they married. I'm one of those who had a child before I married. I had my daughter when I was just 16 years of age. Yes, I was a teenager. And yes, I'm one of the stats of South Africa, teenage pregnancy. Yeah. But anyway, I had my daughter then when I was 16, and remember I married when I was 18 years. So my daughter was a year and a month, because she's born in April, a year and a month when I married. What a journey it has been. What a journey it has been. We've got so many stories to share, but I won't share all of them. I'll just give you a glimpse of what one has experienced. My daughter was not staying with me at the time. She was staying at her father's house. Right. So you can just imagine that when they heard that I was getting married, it was that commotion. But anyway, before we married, my husband and I, before we married, we had a talk about what I would like to happen to my daughter when we were married. And I appreciate that we had the talk before we married, because it's always good to say what is in your heart, what you desire, especially when it's come to the issues of children, so that your spouse or your partner knows how you feel and what are your plans pertaining to the child. Well, we had a talk, and I told him that as much as my child is at a father's place, but I would like my child to stay with me permanently, and I would one day start embarking on the journey of getting her to stay with us. So, and I'm so thankful that he was very supportive to that desire of mine, because when I started the process of having her to stay with us, he was there 100% in support. So our daughter stayed with us, or started to stay with us when she was about 6 years of age. Yeah, 6 years of age, she stayed with us permanently. And it has been a journey, I must say, for those years when she was not with us and when she started, because as you all know, that when you have a child with somebody else, some families are very skeptical to release their child to a step parent, because one is out of fear. I have to say it's out of fear, because sometimes we just want to judge people with not understanding as to what they may be going through. So it was out of fear, not knowing how my husband was going to treat my daughter. So there were fears that they had, which then escalated to words being spoken, things being said, that when she was visiting us, she was advised to not refer to him as dad. She was advised to refer to him as Butisbanban, but not her dad. I understand it was based out of fear, but you know, it's those things I believe they cause a bit of a challenge in terms of quickly growing the relationship between the two. That is the stepchild and the stepdad or the stepmother, because how one is introduced to the child, it matters the most. If you introduce your spouse, your wife, or your girlfriend at the time, or your boyfriend at the time, as Ubuti Spangbani or Uncle Spangbani, probably that is how your child would refer to them. And all of a sudden, after some time, you're saying, he is no longer now Ubuti Spangbani or Usisu Spangbani, he is now Uma or Baba. So I believe that it's always best to just make an introduction that is proper in the beginning, especially when you know that this relationship is moving to a certain direction. So when my child met my husband, I was very clear from the beginning that this is your dad. In fact, you are so blessed. You're one of the blessed kids to have two dads in your life. While some have one and you have two. So that is how I introduced him to her, that he was her dad. And we spoke with my husband that I would want her to parent her just like his own. I would want him to parent her like his own, because I felt it was very important for him to also know how I felt about his involvement in her life. I wanted him to be fully involved. I wanted him to treat my child as his own, and I wanted him to feel being a parent to her, not as a step parent, but as a parent. So there are things that I did, or there are things, there are decisions that I made that helped in our journey of transitioning from being a step parent to a parent, and also transitioning from my daughter staying at her father's house to us now completely staying with us. One of them was me. I had to change. I had to change. I had to make some adjustment pertaining to myself. One of those adjustments was I needed to release my daughter from myself and give her fully to him. What that means is I had to release it in terms of my husband had every right to discipline, my husband had a right to reprimand, my husband had a right to hit if she is done wrong, my husband had a right to scold, my husband has a right to praise, which is done right. He had to parent her the way that he knows best. So I allowed my husband to be a parent to her. Whichever way that he would parent her, I had to allow him to do that. Because if I held on to her, I was not going to see the best parenting in him, in parenting my child. My child was not going to experience the best parent that she's experiencing now if I held on to her and kept her to myself. So I allowed her, I gave her to him to parent. One of the things that encouraged me was I knew that my daughter loved me. I knew that she was mine. I knew that she would never dislike, she would never dislove me. She would always love me. I'm a biological mother. But this one is a stranger. This one is somebody that she does not know. Is somebody that she still has to grow or have a relationship with. So I made sure that they built a relationship, both of them. And I remember, because of my own experience, my past experience of not having a dad in my life, I was very jealous. There was a time where I was very jealous of my daughter's relationship with my husband. I was very jealous because I was like, my daughter is experiencing, yes, as much as I loved it, but there was an element of my daughter is experiencing something that I had never experienced in my life. So I was jealous of how they related, but also I was glad in how they related because my husband really took my child and made her his, and my daughter really took my husband and made him her dad. And even today, you can never tell that they are not biological child and father because of the relationship that they have built in the years. At the same time, I'm happy in seeing the fruits of my decision of releasing her to be parented by him as his own. At the same time, because of the information that my daughter came with, of Ubuntu not being your dad and Mamani, yes, there were struggles. There were struggles in her in wanting to, like, she would want to do right by her father's side, and she would want to do right by me because I'm her mother. So she was always caught in between her father's side and also me, and which was very tough for her. But I have to applaud her for how she handled it. And also how we all handled the whole situation. Though it was not an easy ride, but again, I'm thankful that we were able to conquer all those struggles. At the same time also, one of the things that my husband learned as well was like getting a child to parents when the child is about 6 years. You can just imagine, it's not an easy thing. Even for him here too, there are things that he had to learn on how to parent a child, a stepchild. There are things that he had to deal with himself in accepting my child as his own. So it has been a journey. But I'm just grateful that we were able, as a couple, to maneuver and work around the whole situation, the whole thing. It is not an easy thing, but it's something that is workable, it is doable. The thing that couples need to do is to speak about such things. Be open about it. If you are a dad, if you're a male and you've got a child out of wedlock and you will want your child someday to stay with you, it is good to speak to your spouse about it, that one day I would like my child to stay with us, so that the spouse is aware and is able to deal with his or her emotions prior. Because as much as you may want your child, but there are families that are involved. Some families do not want their child to be living with the step-parents. Some families will want their children to stay at their paternal grandparents because they want to start something new. I don't know. I'm one who does not agree to such. I believe that all kids should be brought up in a setup where there is a mother and a dad, including the step-kids must be involved. But again, the way things are, some families prefer the children be separated for whatever reason that they have. It's not my place to judge. But me personally, it worked. Bringing my daughters to stay with us worked. It worked for me. It worked for my husband. It even worked for her because she got to experience staying or living with both parents. She got to experience the love of both parents. She got to experience being raised by a step-parent who never made her feel like she was a stepchild, which I really do appreciate that thing. So I just want to say to those parents who are just like me, first thing that you need to do when you find yourself in such a situation, please release your child to your spouse. Release your child to your spouse and allow your spouse to parent your child whichever way that your spouse will parent your child. There were incidences. I remember there was a time where my husband beat Washa. Let me not use beat because beat is a strong word, but he hit Ilokuzana, both of our kids, my daughter and our son, Wabashaya, because they were not in there, they were fighting. And I must say, honestly, you know it happens. You know, you have those fears of thinking, maybe my child was beaten more than the other. You know, I had those fears, but I had to work on myself. No, it's not about that. He loves her just like his own, and even if I'm shy, whichever level I'm shy, it's not because he does not love her, but he's just putting her into order, disciplining her as I would if it were me who was beating them up. You understand what I'm saying? So it helped me to release my daughter to him. It helped also their relationship because I never interfered in their relationship. I never interfered. I loved seeing them grow in their relationship. I love how strong it is. Even I got married. I got jealous of the relationship that they had. But I'm appreciating that they now have a very strong relationship because I did that exercise of releasing her to him and him also allowing my daughter to be his. Because that's another thing. Allowing himself to be a parent to a child that is not biologically his. And also for my child as well, allowing herself to be blessed with two dad and allowing herself to learn to love this new person whom her mother loves. Because if my child was not happy or if my child was not sure of my love for my husband, maybe we'll be talking about something else today. But because I allowed my daughter to see that I was happy, I was treated well in this union, and she saw how my husband treated me. It made it easy for her to trust, to love, and to accept this new person that has come into her mother's life. So that is what I wanted to share with you. A 16-year-old having a child was not easy. 16-year-old bringing a child into a marriage was not easy. But we were able to do it because all things are possible. All that you need to do is communicate your desires, communicate your plans, communicate your wishes. And when you have communicated, allow your wishes to play out. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal, but allow your wishes to play out. That is allowing your child to be parented the way that your spouse parents. Remember, parenting styles are not the same. So I might be soft-spoken. My husband might be loud. I might be a disciplinarian. My husband may be nice. It is how one parents. So when you bring a stepchild into the marriage, or when you build a child into the marriage, have that understanding, allowing your spouse to parent your child the best way that they can. So on that note, I want to say thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like, to comment, and to share with your friends. Have an awesome night. See you next week, same time, same place. Bye.